In the aftermath of last week's deadly riot at the Capitol, and with the FBI now warning of nationwide threats in the coming days, a new survey from the Anti-Defamation League finds roughly 3 out of 4 Americans are concerned about violent extremism. Joining us tonight on News Nation to break down how extremist views contributed to the Capitol violence is David Goldenberg. He's the regional director of the Anti-Defamation League's Midwest office. David, thanks for joining us. Let's start with this survey you released this week. What about it troubled you the most?
Well, first, thanks for having me on. And I think that what is deeply troubling about this is the large percentage of Americans, as you said, 75%, who have deep concerns and are concerned about violent extremism in the country. There's no question about it. And when we look at what occurred on January 6th, it was the most predictable act of domestic terrorism in the modern U.S. history. These were incidents, these were attacks that were telegraphed, they were predicted, they were told to the public by extremists online of what they planned to do. And the images that you have on the screen right now are the result of when we didn't take them seriously.
So you're asking the DOJ to investigate social media platforms, one in particular. What are you looking for with that investigation? What do you want to see? Yeah.
Social media platforms for not just weeks or months, but for years have allowed hate to manifest itself. And frankly, they haven't taken enough aggressive action to take hate speech down. We've seen extremists use these platforms, and we're not just talking about the Gabs of the world or the 4chans or the 8chans or Telegram or those ones that many of are Parler, but instead they've used Facebook and Twitter and other social media platforms to organize and to spread their hateful message. And as a result, they've been allowed in many ways to operate unfettered across the board for quite some time. And ADL and others have been calling on social media companies to use the same ingenuity that has changed the way we communicate, to use that also to tamper down and to crack down on hate speech and extremism on their platform.
Are you worried at all that these violent elements will burrow deeper into the internet that'll ultimately make it harder to find or track them?
Well, there's a couple ways of looking at it. First, what you're able to do by taking them off of these sites, by taking Parler down, by kicking QAnon conspiracy theories and other groups off of platforms like Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, et cetera, the ones that we've seen, you are able to disrupt their networks that they use to communicate and organize with one another. Now, they do go to other platforms. They go to platforms like Telegram and Cloud and Gab and Amino and Minds and ones that we would never even know about. However, what we find when they go to those sites too, they're typically disorganized. So it's much more difficult. They're learning a new platform. It can delay them. And we're able to also continue to track them. But the other point that I want to make is that it used to be if you were an extremist, you had to find a meeting in the darkness of the night, right? Now you just need to pick up one of these things, and people can be connected. Extremists can be connected across the country for organizing purposes. And that's why it becomes so important for social media platforms to have strong user agreements that gives them the capability and the ability to kick people off of their sites and to take hate speech and extremism off of their pages as well. And if not, then they are very much complicit with what occurred last week and what could occur in the future.
David, I know we only have 30 seconds left, and this is a heavy-duty question, but if you can, in 30 seconds, give us at least an outline of what you think needs to happen to fix this.
Well, first and foremost, social media platforms need to take responsibility. They're taking it lately, but they need to continue to be committed to taking down hate speech off of their platforms and not allowing them to be used as organizing tools. And then the second thing is we need to make sure we've got legislation that cracks down on hate speech, that cracks down on hate crimes that occur online, things like doxing and swatting. And that's the next phase of how we can go about stopping people from using the internet and social media networks and social media platforms to attack people and spread their hateful messages.
David Goldberg, thank you for your time. We appreciate it. Regional Director of the Anti-Defamation League for the Midwest. Thanks again, sir.
Thanks for having me.